Hey y'all, and welcome to the Education Link Up, where theory meets practice, aka where I put all of my non-written homework assignments. So I hope you enjoy. Today's assignment is about the global context of education. We had the opportunity to choose one country to explore their education system. I chose the country of Jamaica because my family is Jamaican and I love learning more about my history. So today I'm going to interview a few people from different parts of Jamaica, and I'm going to ask them about their experiences within the Jamaican education system and hope that y'all enjoy the opportunity to learn more about their experiences, their culture, and their history. And without further ado, let's get into an interview.
So you're going to start by telling us your name, your age, your grade, and what school you go to.
My name is Shadae Williams. I'm 15 years old. I go to Gainsted High School.
Okay. So what was your favorite experience in school so far?
I don't know because we don't really have much of an experience through like the technology.
Well, outside of technology, just school, like how you're going to school. What's your favorite thing about school?
My favorite thing about school is learning more about like the science subjects because I do science subjects. So I learn more topics and what they're about and how they contribute to the environment and society.
Cool. What's the most challenging thing about school or things you like the least about school?
The least I like about school is that some of the teachers they aren't as like productive. Some of them don't come to class sometimes,
Oh.
or they're too lazy. That's what I don't like.
What about all right, so my schooling experience is probably different from yours. So if you could tell me about your typical day going to school, starting from waking up in the morning to how you get to school. Think about when you were in school, because I know that you guys are online right now, to getting ready for school, like everything that you could think of, like a day in the life of Shadae going to school. What is that like?
So I was going to school. I would wake up at 5 or 5:30, and then I would get ready, and then I'd have to leave somewhere around 6 to catch the bus. And if I don't see the bus, I'll take a taxi to go to Crossroads and then a next taxi from Crossroads to go to school. But if I was taking the bus would just take me to school and it's just one straight route. And when I'm at school now, I'll just wait until the classrooms open and until all the teachers come. And then after that, would have devotion. And then after devotion, would have classes 3 classes or 2 classes, and then it would be our lunchtime. And then after lunch, we would have more classes until school is over. And then I would either take the bus or the taxi the same way to go back home.
How many classes do you take?
Right now, I take 7 or 8.
7 or 8. And then let me think. What was I gonna ask you before? You said, have you always taken devotion?
Huh?
Have you always taken devotion? That's at every school. Every school does devotion?
Yeah, every day until school's over. Yeah.
What time is school over?
Huh?
What time is school over?
2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Depends on the grade.
So then one thing that I know from seeing is that you guys wear a uniform. You always have to wear a uniform?
Yes, always.
What happens if you don't have a uniform or don't wear a uniform?
We cannot come to school.
You can't go to school?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay, so for lunch, what does lunchtime look like? Does everybody have lunch at the same time? What do you guys eat for lunch?
We don't have lunchtime at the same time because the smaller grades need to go first so they can go back to class. So they would have lunch earlier than the higher grades.
How many grades are at your school?
See, they made six form mandatory, so I don't know.
Okay.
Normally it stops at 11th grade.
So it goes from 1st grade to 11th grade?
Like 7th.
7th to 11th. Okay. So what do you have for lunch?
It varies because they do fried chicken and then they'll change it up on next day and they'll have fries and chicken. So it just, yeah.
That sounds good. Um, I'm trying to think of other questions. So we talked about how you got to school. We talked about your number of classes. Talked about you in uniform. Testing. What are tests like? Do you guys take a lot of tests? A little bit of tests?
We take a good amount of tests. Would have like 6 weeks tests, like
6
when we
weeks.
start 6 weeks tests.
Okay.
So
Like
we learn some topics, and then when it's like the 6th week in school, we'll do a test on everything that we've learned, and then we'll have end of term test and end of year test.
okay. And then what I heard, I interviewed 2 other people so far, and they talked a lot about GSAT. What does that look like for you, or how does that relate to you?
I got GSAT in 6th grade when I was in primary school. Yeah, but they changed it to PEP now.
Oh, okay. And what does a GSAT do?
It's just everything that we've learned from 1st grade to 6th grade, or 5th grade to 6th grade.
Okay. So for somebody who doesn't know too much about school in Jamaica, I'm gonna be sharing this with some, like, the information that I learned from this with people in my class, and some of them have never even been to Jamaica before. For people like that, what would you want to say about school in Jamaica or education in Jamaica? What would you want to share or let them know?
It's very different, and we learn faster than how Americans would learn. Like we learn the topics and the subjects before, and we learn it all at one time.
Okay.
Like in 1 grade, we'd have to learn all of it, and then we'd have to move on. And you have to get it. If you don't understand, you have to tell a teacher so you can get it, so we can move on to something else.
So everything is like back to back, really quick and fast
Yeah.
paced. Okay. Any question that you think I should have asked that I didn't?
No, you covered it basically.
Oh, okay. What are your views on teachers?
Some of the teachers are really nice and they'll help out, but some teachers not so much. Some teachers will go out their way to help you to understand a topic or something, and some teachers are just not going to do that. So, yeah.
Do you do like any tutoring, extra lessons, or schoolwork outside of school?
No.
Do you get a lot of homework or a little bit of homework?
Now I get a little bit, but it depends on the teacher.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me and tell me about your experiences. I guess I'll move on to interviewing whoever's next.